go. That was
There
cool.
you go. Wasn't bad. The animation was a little choppier than I expected it to be, but I'm
That's right.
happy
It
with
is. I totally forgot. It is Valentine's Day.
I'm happy with the candy hearts though. Those worked out nicely.
I should have drawn a big heart around the thrusters.
Oh, that'd have been yeah. What a good movement for Valentine's Day too.
Everybody loves thrusters.
Uh,
You ain't a CrossFitter if you don't love thrusters.
I feel like that one can go either way. Because I feel like you're also a CrossFit if you hate thrusters.
100%.
Yeah, like I think
or
you
you're
can.
not a CrossFitter if you don't love to hate thrusters.
Yeah, I think that's it. Like we all do thrusters because we know it's such an important movement in your fitness. It's such a great movement for your fitness, but that's also why we hate them because they don't get easier. They don't get easier.
Nope.
It's not even like I think the only reason I like the thrusters in the open last year is like because I mean it was essentially a cluster, but it was
Oh, the 1 rep max, yeah.
Yeah, it was like, oh, we only have to do one at a time. Like that's the thruster I like. Like even today it's the EMOM. So there's not much of a break. I'm curious to hear how it went because that one just looked like a lot of fun. And I got a little FOMO. And I was like, I'm not coaching this one at all today. But it just looked like it would be a fun test of people's how heavy are they willing to go, and then how hard are they willing to push in that AMRAP at the end, and like I don't know. I'm excited to hear, but whether it's on here or offline, I'm just curious to how it went because it looked like a fun game to play.
Yeah.
And anyway, but yeah, so thruster, the movement of the day for Valentine's Day. Oh, that should have been one of the candy hearts. Thrust me. That's what it should have been.
That's good.
It was cool. One of my teens brought a little box of candy hearts. I think I may even left it sitting on the speaker. A box of candy hearts for everyone in class.
Oh.
And I said, I was like, Luca, I think you're the first teen to ever bring like a Valentine's for everyone in class in the history of me running a teens program, whether here or anyone else. And he's like, wow, I just made history. I was like, what a great Black History Month. And they're like, well, what does that have to do with Black History Month? It's like, I don't know. I'm just trying to combine all the great things together. Valentine's Day, it's Black History Month. Luca brought candy hearts. Let's just share all the love on this one day. They're like, all right, whatever. These taste disgusting.
They're gross.
They're gross. Monique was asking me, she goes, are these different flavors? I was like, yeah, this flavor is white chalk. This flavor is pink chalk. And this flavor is chalk.
Yeah. Are you sure they were candy hearts and they weren't actually chalk?
I'm curious as to if like candy hearts are just guys, we made extra chalk. What should we do with them? Or like, oh guys, we made extra
sugar in it. It'll be fine.
We made extra Tums. What should we do with them?
Oh, yeah.
Right. Hallmark's like, I have an idea.
That's funny.
So, that's how it goes. What is Nicole's take on Valentine's Day as a lovely young lady? Does she care for Valentine's Day?
I don't know. You'd have to ask her.
Does she? Do you not know her at all? Does she like? So let me put it this way. I guess that's kind of that's a vague question. So Meg's never. I think there's a lot of people. She's like, it just feels like it's a forced commercial, like Hallmark holiday. Like you have to do this thing because Hallmark says you do for this one, and she doesn't like that. It feels very inauthentic, right? Like if you're going to do something for someone that you care about, you are not going to do it because they told you to. However, since having the kids, she has fun doing stuff on Valentine's Day with the kids. So like, we're going to make a heart pizza, and we'll probably make like, we're going to get some stuff and make like Valentine's decorations, like just something fun to do with the kids is like a theme for the day. Okay. So like she has fun with it, but not in the sense of like, I need to buy chocolate and I need to buy her chocolate and flowers and jewelry. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Maybe in the fact that I didn't even remember that it was Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And I'm not in trouble.
Yeah.
That right? In the absence of sort of any response or absence of response, maybe just in the overall general sense of apathy within within my small little circle, that is the hint of
Right.
I don't really care either way.
That makes
But
sense.
I guess if I was at like if the kids were elementary school age, like sure. I mean, Lauren in
Right.
class today, somebody was talking about like they have like you just said like there's like class parties and stuff. So I mean, like
Yeah.
I'd go, do a craft or bring juice box and
Something
hard
something
cupcakes or something.
fun.
Sure,
Yeah.
right? Like I guess I would imagine that based on I don't I guess as Americans within a commercialized capital system, we do lots of stuff that is driven solely by let's exploit people and make money off of them. Why does this instantly feel more malicious or nefarious? And at the same
Oh,
time,
totally does. Yeah.
don't really care either way. So, in the absence of like the person who is kind of most important in my life, either really care, like saying, like I know in the past, like if there's something that's important to Nicole, she'll say like, "Hey man, my 50th birthday is coming up.
Right.
You got a year. Start thinking about some good stuff." And then
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, I don't really just want to shoot in the dark and fuck this up. Like, so 6 weeks later, this is what I want to do for my 50th birthday.
Right.
Awesome. I can execute on that. Right. Like those sorts of conversations. So if she were to say, like, hey, Valentine's Day is a week away, like, remember, we got some time, we can do something. I'd be like, sure, cool. It's important to you. Let's do it. I don't have any of that. Right. I didn't get any of that. So I would trust that as my guide of like, I live in a world where if something's important to you, tell me. If
Yeah.
not, and what's important to you is a guessing game, I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, I'm going to disappoint you.
Yes.
So if you want to be in a relationship with somebody who enjoys playing guessing games, you should probably find somebody else because I'm not
Yeah.
going to be very good at it. And
I'm not
actually,
that
what'll
guy.
probably happen is I'm going to recalcitrantly get really bad at it just to forcefully push you away as fast as possible. So
Almost like
tell me what you want.
almost like an unintentional, intentional spite.
Yes.
Just
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to get so stubborn and like purposefully be like obtuse,
Yeah.
passive aggressively, like aggressively, passive aggressively. And then I'm going to go until you tell me what the fuck you want. I'm not doing anything.
Yeah. I had I had I don't think I don't think it was just one. There may have been a couple of ex-girlfriends that like played the I don't really care about Valentine's Day, but like when it rolled around, they're like, so what are you doing for me? And I would totally get the like, I
I'm
100%
going to
like,
be in Tennessee at WrestleMania. What do you mean?
yeah, like like it's like a yeah, no.
Did you want a ticket?
We're
Do you
not
want to come?
playing that
I mean,
game.
Bob, Joe, Mike, and I are we got the 4 seat. I mean, I guess we can squeeze you in the back seat. You can sit bitch if you want. Like whatever. Sorry,
Or
that was aggressive. Is that they don't still call that the hump? They don't call the hump something. They call that something else, right?
because I feel like, well, I know, right? So riding in the trunk is called dead hooker.
Oh, we just totally that like 2 strikes. We are on thin ice, my friend. Thin ice.
Megro dead hooker.
And again, like, why did it have to? There we go. Why did it have to be a female hooker? Right? It could have been a male hooker.
What is hooker? I feel like
hooker is
hooker
a genderless term.
I say hooker's a genderless term. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's so dead hooker. It's just a hooker.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Right?
so really, I think it's a very
dead prostitute. Dead prostitute.
dead. Let's see now if you say lady of the night, but
Nah.
yeah, that was yeah.
Anyway, yeah, we get that was a fun little vignette that totally identified both of our inappropriatenesses, and yeah, there you go. We went from 3 followers to none.
We can, yeah. Yeah, let's see. Now nobody is watching. Good.
Even
Okay.
Andy was like, "Ooh,
Even
gents,
Andy's like,
I
yeah,
gotta go."
we gotta go ahead. Lost a couple brain cells on this one. Might head to church for a minute, just see what's going on
Yeah.
there.
Whoops a daisy.
After yeah, there we go. So um yeah, I feel like that's a good way to end the show, really. Just it
It was a good run.
was a good run.
Fun
Good
while it lasted.
run. Let's go back to blogging. Nice, dude.
Nobody reads those either.
I read every one of them, Jack.
Oh, thanks, man.
I read every one of them. As soon as I do when you still, I mean, it's only been 2 so far, but like every time you send the link, I'm like, I sit down wherever I'm at, I sit down and I read it because I like,
nice.
I love, it's really, here's some feedback too. It's an easy read for me because the way you put the gifts in breaks it up. So it's really like the quick short, instead of a long thing where I'm going to trail off, like the gifts almost like take my attention away for a sec and then regains it. And it's
sometimes they augment, sometimes they are saying the same thing. Sometimes it's right. Yeah, totally. I appreciate that.
It makes it a fun read. And and I'm really impressed at how was it the last one? With all the golf, like but how you get so many gifts from like the same
that was that
right?
started almost as like I was rewatching Happy Gilmore or something. Happy Gilmore came on like it was on a YouTube clip or something.
That was Ted Lasso, and it was all Ted Lasso stuff too. So like,
well, it was Ted Lasso. That was that one was kind of they sometimes they start with like a single show as the idea or like a single thread, and then sometimes it's like, no, I want to find a bunch from different places, and so
But yeah, that was but I remember going through, I think it was a Happy Gilmore one. I was like, man, there's a lot. That was impressive how many gifts you were able to find from Happy Gilmore. I feel like a TV show, it's much easier. I feel like there's a lot more content from a TV show to pull from. But from
just from a single movie. I've watched Happy Gilmore a lot though. So, that was a college staple.
I loved Happy Gilmore. Yeah. Carl Weathers, God rest your soul.
God, yeah, that was kind of who was wearing it was Gronk was wearing the CR patch when he missed the field goal.
Yeah, did you see there was the because I don't even remember who was it FanDuel that was commercial was for?
Yeah.
But Carl Weathers was in the commercial. Carl Weathers in that commercial. They did the like I was like I that moment I was like, oh man, that was really good.
It was fun. Yeah, I thought the commercials in general were really good.
They were pretty good.
The game was really good. That was a good Super Bowl.
I loved the first half. I love a good defensive struggle. So like that's really what the first half was. But then the second half picked up really nicely going into over. Fee stayed up and Fee made it almost to overtime. Fee stayed up and watched it with me. Honestly, I was in and out too. I was in and out. I think I dozed off just before halftime and watched halftime. And I thought halftime was kind of fun. I don't know many Usher songs, but when Lil Jon came on, I was like, oh, I know that one. And the crowd goes wild. But that was that was a fun game. That was a cool game. But now all the conspiracy theorists come out now, like on social media from like the league is scripted to benefit Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and Kelsey and the Chiefs, and here's this call that the refs missed and this call that the refs missed because they're obviously trying to help them. And I'm like, every time I see that, I'm like, yeah, it's also human error. Like I can't imagine how fast those things happen when you're on the field of play. Like, yeah, refs blow some there's some calls you're like, that was bad. But for the most part, I'm like, can you imagine the pressure in those situations?
Yeah.
Especially the Super Bowl. So I think it was a good game. I actually liked that there weren't that many penalties called. It felt like there really weren't that many, and which I was like, hey, felt even both ways, but I was entertained, and isn't that the point?
Yes. Yeah.
So
teach me a moral, teach me a lesson, and entertain me. That's it.
There we go. So, but anyway, yeah, I don't even know where I'm going today. I feel like it's super random today. I was
you're in charge.
Huh?
It's a good thing you're in charge.
I know, right? I put a lot of thought into what do the Candy Hearts need to say, and my brain's melted since then. But I'm excited. Well, next week we'll have so we're gonna get our open captains on, Bridget and Alexis.
Oh, fun.
They're gonna join us next week, and
I don't
and
think
talk
I
about.
haven't met Alexis yet.
It's funny, there were a couple people. Who was it? Who was it? Andrea. You haven't met Andrea yet. Who she's but it's funny, some people too, where like, because I talk about Jack all the time, when you were there, when you weren't there, and when you're back, and some people are like, I haven't met Jack, and I was like, I forget there are people that don't know Jack, because if you don't come to 5:15 in the morning, like,
Yeah, I mean, if it's after 5 p.m., like, I'm not the sun, right?
I was going to say, if it's after 5 p.m., you don't want to be Jack. Right?
That's why the St. John's program was such an anomaly. Like, I really have to like prepare for that. I take like a 3-hour nap during the day. Like, oh yeah, like
do you like early as it gets closer to the like class, like you're just like, I am just not up for this, but then once you're there, you're like, I'm in it. Or do
I
you
would say less than a handful of times has that happened.
really?
But no, I'm usually I'm ready. I like that's how I know it's something I would like to keep doing. I just don't know how once I graduate.
Yeah, right.
They ask you to leave. Actually, that's not true. St. John's is always like, you can come back. You can actually, once you're a graduate, you can pay half off and augment
really?
or whatever that's called. Not augment, but audit. You can audit courses, take courses for 50%.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I guess if you love to learn, that's a steal.
That's it. And that's the whole idea, is that there is no expiration date on education.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice of them. Is that something you would consider doing?
I don't pay for education, so
yeah. Oh,
once the GI Bill is up, I'm done.
Oh, there you go. Is that a fixed amount?
It's months. Yeah, it's you get 36 months of,
36 months,
of education.
That's cool. That's cool. Do the boys get that too?
Nah, I used it, but then we're getting something else. They're getting the dependent education assistance through the VA.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, but yeah. Anyway, next week we'll have Alexis, so that'll be cool. You'll have Alexis and Bridget, who I jokingly.
Bridget or Juliana?
Bridget, So Juliana's my like co-MC.
Oh, okay.
So Juliana's helping me like run it and organize it, which she's just fantastic. Like I'm so glad. Like we had a little meetup last week, and she's like, oh, here's all my notes from last year. And like I was like, and here's how we did things last year. And I was like, oh yeah, we like saved all this stuff, and here's how we'll tweak it for this year, and then here's the plan here's for this week and next week and the following week. And I'm like, I'm so glad you're here. So she's helping me kind of organize it and run it. And then Alexis and Bridget are the captains. And I chose them too because I'm like, all right, I'm looking for people that are like super, like Bridget and Alexis both, when it comes to like the social media and engagement and like anything that comes up, like since they've joined, they are there, they are engaged, they're cheering people on. I think Bridget might be the most active person on SugarWatt. I think she might be beating John O'Neill out by like a smidge on like fist bumps and comments and all that. And I was like, cool, it'll be fun. Like, these, and they're relatively newer faces, in the last 6 months or so. So that'll be fun. And then it also dawned on me, I'm like, oh, and they both came from that other gym up the street. Boy, they missing out. And not that it really matters, but it was just a fun little like, oh, I just realized that both of you. So anyway, so that'll be fun. And they'll talk about, they haven't come up with team names yet, which I think they said once we do a draft, they're going to talk to their teammates and see who wants to do a team name. Whereas I feel like that's too much input from too many people, but we'll see. Oh, but I got to update my draft counter. Hold on. Okay, so we'll pull that up real quick. My draft counter, so last time we were 27. And as of last night, which we probably might even have a couple more now. Boom, 32.
Nice.
Or is it 33? It's 33. Let me fix that. As of 12 seconds ago, we are now up to 33.
That's
Cool.
pretty cool.
I think Chad and Steph are signing. Chad and Steph, as they walked out, they're like, Eric. Chad goes, Eric, you're gonna want to update that counter soon. And I thought he did it before he left. I was like, oh great. And then I looked at it, and I was like, he's still not on here. I'm not sure what Chad's doing or saying. But it's just Chad being Chad. Chad's like, how long? Chad totally, he goes, so when do I have to sign up by? Like, what's the latest I can sign up?
I think Monday of the Open. I think Monday, like the 3rd or whatever that 4th or 5th is. Right. So Friday's the 1st. So Monday the 4th, I think.
Yeah, I think that's the
I think you have to sign up to
by the end of
by scores being due on Monday.
Monday 8 p.m. Yeah, so you have to sign up then. Yeah. So that's
I don't know. So I wouldn't go to the bank on that.
Yeah,
that's just I think.
Everyone will be well informed soon enough. So it's but yeah, I'm getting I haven't paid as close attention to some of the stuff that Dave has been putting out. I feel like there's so much coming out now that he's did he say something in the last week or two about some move, and then a bunch of people were like, oh, he's hinting at a movement that might be showing up. I feel like there was a clip I kept seeing, but I never actually saw the clip. But people were I feel like people are starting to do those, what are they called? The pullovers, where you pull your feet up and over and around the pull-up bar. What are those called again? Over-unders. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think they're pullovers. I think that's They had to do them. They did them in the games. They had that workout, the handstand, the freestanding handstand push-ups, and the pullovers.
Yeah, they just keep. I feel like he said something in one of his videos, and then a bunch of people are like, oh, "I think he's hinting at those are going to be in the Open." And I was like,
those are really hard.
It's yeah, I would be surprised. I feel like a movement, if it hasn't, I feel like if it hasn't shown up in the
quarterfinals or semis,
it's not going to go to the Open right away. But
it's too big of a jump.
But I feel like it's year after year with Castro. If he says something, and then if it's that quick that people will be like, oh, I know what he's talking about. This is what it is. And then everyone jumps on that. So I can guarantee you that's not what it is. Like Dave Castro will make you think he's showing you his hand, but he's not showing you anything. Would that be accurate? Years of Dave Castro.
I guess I don't really know what the question is in there.
So all the years that Dave Castro has been posting stuff on social media, especially leading up to the Open, and he'll say stuff about, in particular, his hints.
Yeah,
the hints he would put about what's going to Open workout, and people think they've got it figured out, but they never really haven't figured it out. And so I think Dave is like, I think he's just trolling people. I'm going to make you think you know, but I'm not really giving you anything.
Yeah.
Does that make
sense? I mean, it's in the. I guess to me the question or the difficulty in being able to predict what any of his previous hints or suggestions with any, like being able to guess what they're suggesting is going to come with any sort of accuracy is a futile attempt based on the nature of CrossFit as a methodology.
Yeah.
In its infinitely scalable and infinitely combinable combinations of weightlifting, monostructural gymnastics movements in couplets and triplets and chippers across time and task priority structures. Right? So you have how many movements possible, how many combinations possible, how many time domains possible, how many alternating varying structures of those time domains possible.
Yeah.
You are limited solely in your imagination. So if he puts a hint, trying to guess it is, I think, as futile and asinine as like trying to know when you're going to die.
Yeah, that's
you know what I mean. Like
way more fun though. I think it's more fun to guess that than trying.
It depends on your philosophical background, or I mean, the Stoics enjoy it. They do memento mori and all that stuff, death meditations. Yeah. But the idea being that we all know the Open is coming. We all know that the open workout will have CrossFit in it. We all know if you want to do well at it, it's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
So, like, we all know we're gonna die,
Yeah.
right? Like, spoiler alert:
Sometime
none of
between
us,
now
none
and
of
the
us
rest
will
of our
make
life.
it out of here alive. Um, so, what benefit is there in trying to guess or um, try to like propose what it's going to be? I think that's if you were to really, I feel like if you were to really appreciate who Dave Castro is as a person, he has no problem feeding into that desire of people. But I think at the same time, those who end up taking the bait,
Yeah.
you're the candidate at Buds that he's already written off
Right.
because he's like, all right, man, I'm telling you, you ain't gonna make it. Right?
Yeah.
Like if you're spending all your energy worrying about this, you ain't gonna make it when time comes. What
Yeah.
you should be worrying about, what you should be putting your energy towards is doing CrossFit.
Yeah.
Do it more often, do it at higher intensity, and do it with less interference, or not interference, but less distraction of all the other crap that people get to. Oh, if I do this, this, and this, I'll get better at handstand push-ups. Like, why don't you just do more push-ups? Better. Like, if you don't have handstand push-ups, do a perfect like regular push-up and just do that really, really well 2 or 3 times a week until you can do those perfectly. And then do your feet up, elevated push up, and do those until they're perfect. And in 6 to 8 weeks, you'll probably have a strict handstand push up. You know what I
68
mean?
weeks?
Six to 8 weeks. I don't have time for that. I
Did you
need to do I need to do this tricky little $50 online thing that'll tell me to do this and this and this and blah 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 blah. So weird. And then guess what? Handstand push-ups weren't even in the open. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
Spent all that time working on them. They didn't even have them. They had these stupid wall walks.
I've loved that. I've heard people are like, "Yeah, I worked so hard at muscle ups, they weren't even in the open." Man,
I
but
only do things so that I can get validation externally from other people. That's how I know I feel good about myself.
true. That's what I do need that actually.
But yeah, so I think right, like it's, but you're asking the wrong audience, man. Like I don't know any of the stuff you're talking about because I'm not on social media, right? Like I
You
don't.
watch his video.
I watch his weekend review,
Yeah.
right? Because that's
Yeah.
in a sense like you look at his answer to the comments, it's the same. It's the same thing. Like he reads them all, right? Leave
Yeah.
him a comment. He's gonna read it. He's gonna answer it. And if
Yeah.
he reads a comment that asks a stupid question, he's just like, "That's a stupid question. I just answered that. Why would you ask that question?"
Totally, you can even in the way when he'll even when he like gives it an answer, you can tell in his like demeanor. He's like this is I've said this
Yeah, I'm
before.
gonna. Right, I told you the deal was you ask me a question, I'll answer it, but you're not gonna like my answer. You know,
Yeah.
and so I don't know.
I
Kind of
might make you
appreciate it.
feel I might make you feel stupid for asking, but it's probably because you're not listening.
Well, there's a difference. There's
So,
a difference between we've talked about this. There's a difference
yeah.
between curiosity. It's actually what I talked about in the nerding out video. There's a
Yeah.
difference between
Right.
curiosity and there's a difference between shoot. I forget what the vice was of curiosity. I should have written them down. I wrote it on the whiteboard, then I erased it. And I think of my buddy Gobar, who when I was working with him, like, if you have the means by which to find the answer to the question that you have, then you asking the question prior to taking the time to expend all the energy to flush out that opportunity to answer your own question, that's not curiosity, that's laziness.
Yeah.
Like, answer your own fucking question if you can. And so, like, take a breath, take a second. Don't just react to the stimulus of the pleasure or the pain and just go, ah, like, question when it's like, look, take a second, think about it, think about the question you're about to ask and say, can I answer this on my own? And if the answer is yes, then answer it on your own. If the answer is no, then ask another question and say, well, wait a second. Why can't I ask this? Why can't I answer this question on my own? What's keeping me from being able to answer this question? Is it knowledge that I could go find? Or is it that I've searched, I don't know? And what I think you'll usually find is that your question isn't the question that you originally had. It's something completely different. And now that's a really worthwhile question asking. That whole process is the virtue of curiosity, not the act of asking a question. That's not curiosity. 99% of the time, that's laziness. So most of the things I feel like Dave responds to, he's offering you the opportunity that if you don't like the answer I'm giving you, or you don't like the way in which I'm answering it, it's not me, it's you, right? Like he's showing you the example of like, because I offered you the opportunity to test your fitness and you say, I didn't like that movement. That was a dumb movement. That was too hard. That's not a reflection of the movement. It's a reflection of you're not doing CrossFit or your fitness methodology the way it's supposed to do. The movement's the movement. And the reason he knows that is because he's done this millions of times across 20 plus years, across multiple populations. And invariably, when he provides a test, people accomplish it, and they accomplish it beyond, they exceed his expectations of performance, which means from his perspective, and I only say this, I read his book, I listened to what he says. What that tells him is A, he's doing what he's doing correctly, but he hasn't yet exceeded the bounds of the methodologies to improve or test people's fitness beyond the overall population's capacity, right? If he writes a workout that has a 10-minute time cap, that's the thruster and double under workout or something, the thrusters and pull-ups or something like that, right? Something simple, push, pull, squat. And he watches Matt Frazier and Tia Claire Toomey do it on camera without a whole lot of warm-up, without a lot of whatever. And you know the one that they did down in Miami a while back?
Yeah.
And Matt Frazier does it in like 6.5 minutes or something, and Tia does it in like 7:40, and they end up being like the best in the world across. Maybe the team maybe gets second or something. I don't know, but you know what I mean. You remember that one? I forget which. I think it was like it might have been like 19 point something, or it was whatever.
Yeah.
Dave Castro is like, should have added 3 thrusters per round.
Right.
I was thinking maybe we needed an extra round, but I didn't want it to be whatever. So like that's the thing. He legitimately is always programming for the best, and that's the test. And I don't know where we went here on this, but no, I think the games he plays with people is as you said, maybe he's trolling them or something. Like he's trying to get out of like. I think it's fun for some people. That's cool, but in the end, like if that never happened, and he didn't, I don't think he'd care, right? Like I think it's. Yeah,
I think there is a deviousness to him that he does like to play the game on social media of like, I'm dangling this carrot just to see how people react. But if you know me at all, you won't fall for it.
Yeah.
So like,
maybe right. Like I think he's also he's a nice guy and he's a human being.
I think from an entertainment standpoint, like
I think it's one. Like and I think also
it gets people talking.
Right, he's got people around that he trusts, maybe, and they say like, "Hey, man, like it's worthwhile if you participate and you kind of throw this out there and you're out there, then it'll build a following and you may get like 10% more participation from people." And so you might be like, "Hey, my folks said that engaging on social media helps, so I do it." Like, sure, I was walking down the street and I thought, "Oh, that statue looks like something," and right. So
like it's totally a I almost feel like from a it is like CrossFit is a business and the games is a business, and it's a way to like, okay, I'm going to just like put this out here and get people talking about it to keep it relevant. Like, and I think that's also the world we live in. I think anything that's in particular, like with this, I think it keeps people talking about it, keeps people engaged, whether it's the way you want it or not. It's one of those like, just get people talking about it, regardless what it is, and let it go from there.
Yeah,
and I think
if you did away with it though, I don't think you would get much of an argument. And I would offer a devil's advocate that the more tricks and gimmicks and kitschy little hooks that you think you need for something, the quicker you move away from the thing itself and devalue the value of the thing itself.
Yeah, there's a balance. There's absolutely a balance. Yeah.
I think there's a balance, but I think we've exceeded that balance a long time ago. I think there is an unnecessary distraction around something that if people were to just do it and do it for the sake of it, they would find that the value in it is so much more potent and worthwhile than the distraction of all the bullshit around it.
Yeah. Like trying to figure it out. Just do it.
Yeah, and I mean, and I'll be fully transparent. The CrossFit bingo, right? Like,
Yeah.
I got it. Like, cool, sure.
Yeah.
If it's people and that's what they have, it's a distraction. The teams, right? Like, cool, sure. Like, I'm just right, but at the same time, I live in the world. I am an idealist. Like, understand that coming from it. Like, I am an idealist. But if you like, you're gonna push on this, like, it's bullshit. It's a distraction. It's right.
It's the thing is the open. The thing is doing it, and it's just having some. I think it's adding. It's for me. It's fun. It's adding some fun,
right? Like
yeah.
That's so. I'm totally on.
That's
like,
where
I'm like cool.
And that's
but
where
it's
I'm
also
like,
the part where if someone wants to push hard and be like, why aren't you doing it? Why? Be like, because I don't want to. Because it's a
yeah.
distraction.
This is where I try to find like. I think I want people to do it. At the end of the day, I want people to just sign up for the open, right? Like bare minimum sign up for the open. And you might get placed on a team. Not that. You sign up for the open, you'll get placed on a team. But if all you're doing is showing up and doing the workout for you, that's all you need to do. And so it's like, yeah, Jack, you're signed up for the open. You're going to be on so and so's team, but like, well, you're doing the workouts and that gets you 3 points. And then that's all you need to do. And that's where it's like, I think I've put, it's, I feel like every year it's last year it was the way we did it was like, we try to get everyone signed up, but a lot of people just didn't want to sign up. They didn't care about the game. And that's fine if you don't care about the game. But then it was also like, what am I saying? I want to make it fun. I want it to be an event. And if it's just a sign up, come do this workout on Fridays, it just feels like that's it. And I feel like maybe I need more. Maybe I want it to be more, but I'm also in agreement. Like it doesn't. I need to think this out more. I feel like I need to write out my thoughts more because it's now you're in the pit of my stomach, and I'm like.
But hey man, like that.
It's not that you're not supporting it. It's just that's not your thing. And I want people to know that's like if playing the game is not your thing, that's fine. That is totally fine. I hope you sign up for the open and use the open for what it's intended for. Is a great test, is a great benchmark, is a great reason to put all this work in at the end of the year, after a year to see where you're at and do it again.
What's the best piece of pizza you've ever eaten?
I couldn't tell you. I've had so much pizza.
What is the best pizza you've ever eaten? Let me ask it a different way. When you can think of the best pizza you've ever eaten, how many toppings did it have on it?
Oh, like 1 or 2, maybe.
At most.
Yeah.
Right? Because what happens when you put too many toppings on your pizza?
It's too much.
It's too much.
Yeah.
It's soggy. It's too heavy. Right?
Yeah.
So most likely it was probably just a pepperoni pizza. And even then, if I add that pepperoni, it better be damn good pepperoni, sliced correctly, not too much, not too greasy, because it's great, right? Every time you add another variable into the equation, you have entered into the system the opportunity for fragility, the opportunity for failure. And you've distracted and moved away from the thing itself. What's the best steak you've ever eaten? It was just a steak. It was cooked perfectly.
I can tell you that.
Aged perfectly, right? Like
yeah.
The art of doing this is Glassman's article, efficacy, right? When you think you do the air squat well, go back to the basics and do it even better. Doing the common uncommonly well is the path to efficacy. But we distract ourselves with all kinds of extra shit. And so that's the thing. Like, I'm not saying don't do the open. What I'm saying is the one I just did, that's my guy. Beautiful. So true.
It's actually,
right?
It's funny. I was like, I immediately went to, when you asked me that question, the immediate thing I went to, what was the last slice of pizza I ate?
Like, last night, this morning's one that was cold, was right out of the fridge. Perfect. But right, like and believe me, like, I don't have this figured out. I get distracted all the time. I'm doing these bandit things. I'm doing this, and I'll call out our boy TJ. I love him, and it can come back on. But the course he went to, that FRS movement thing, I've seen it before. Ellen tried to get us to do it, right? And I went into it, I looked, and I went, okay, there's a couple things here, but like, it's just distracting. Like, I think I just need somebody to squat. Like, just squat. Yeah. And if I can't get you to full down, like, we just got to figure out how to squat better, right? Like it's the constant balance of, as you said, balance, but actually it's not even a balance. It's just the constant movement back and forth of like, too much. It's too much. Just have good plates, have good barbells, have enough equipment for everybody, and do it as best as you can. And if we do that and we do it really, really well for 3 weeks, I'd be willing to bet like the joy that comes out of that. But again, I am a fucking idealist. Like, I am coming to realize that when I mean idealist, like idealism, like I have this vision of like, there is a perfect version of this, right? And if I put the right things in place, I can get there. And the less I do, the better I have towards that, the simplest, right? Like, so I'm totally biased in this. So don't let my statement put a pit in your stomach. Like,
yeah, but you know what? I put a lot
easily come back and be like, yeah, but it's so much fun to do.
Your thoughts and opinions carry a lot of weight in my world.
I'm a fucking, I'm a passed over pseudo retired, underachieving, suburban white dude, right? Like, my opinions.
Those are my favorite kind of dudes.
My opinions hold no weight in the movement of the world whatsoever. So I just like that idea of, I had a friend. We had a friend, family friend. We're in Virginia Beach. The boys are maybe like 2.5 or 3. It's before we went to Hawaii. Andrew's like 4 or 5. She's got a daughter and a son about the same age, and we're going to movies, and we're all going. It's chaos, you know. You are in that space right now, right? Anytime you go and the whole family goes, it's chaos. We're in the car. I ended up having to pull over, I think, because the twins were screaming, and I'm like, "We're not fucking going if you don't shut the fuck up!" Right? So we get to the movie theater. Can I have popcorn? Can I have a soda? Can I have lunch candy? Oh my God, I want that time. And her name was Julie, and she turns to the kids, and she's like, all of them, all like 6 of the kids, and she just points them, and she goes, "You listen to me. The movie is the treat. We don't get treats on top of treats. The movie is the treat. Here," and then here's your ticket. Here's your ticket. Here's your ticket. Here's your ticket. And the kids just like,
that's so funny.
They take their ticket and they go in the theater. It's the greatest ever. I forget what movie we went and saw. It was probably like Shrek 2 or something. I don't remember. Like, but they loved it. It was awesome. And Matthew told me that he remembers, like, treat's the treat, man. I don't need a whole bunch of other shit. Treat's the treat. That's and funny. That to me is like in that same vein of the open's the open. I don't need anything else. I don't want anything else. Just do the thing. And I think there's something on the other end of that. But that, again, I love all the other stuff too. If it makes me, I love happiness. And if everybody else is happy, then okay, that's cool. But deep down, I'm kind of like, I wonder if you'd be happier if we weren't so distracted by everything.
I don't know.
Charlie needs to go out. He got excited because I was yelling.
Yeah. It's funny. Just going back to your movie thing. Meg took Fee to a movie about a month. It's the first movie Fee's ever been to, and Fee was asking if she could get candy or something, and Meg straight up said to her, she goes, like Fee asked, like, could we get a treat for the movie or something like that? Meg straight up said, word for word, the movie's the treat.
It's beautiful, right? And there's something like, and again, like this in line with the nerding out series I'm doing. Like I am making a value statement in saying that. And if it's the beginning of a conversation. It's not the end all be all, because I fully believe that if somebody were to come back and say, I hear what you're saying, but then why do we not just have fill in the blank? Like, why then is there value in somebody says, like, gives me an example of adding on something that augments, like, or highlights or exemplifies the thing itself. And I could play the believing game. I can't think of an example right now off the top of my head, but like, you come back and be like, yeah, but by adding the teams, I give an opportunity for somebody who maybe would not have been, and I go from 33 people to 37, and you go, it's less than, it's, a 10% increase, but those 4 people to me are as important as the other 33 that were already there. And they specifically said it was this, this, and this that got them. To me, what I'm saying is the add-on is not a distraction. I'm willing to put in the effort to add something if it allows one more person to be engaged and come to it. And to me, I'm like, I can't argue with that, because did it take away from the person who doesn't want to do all those distractions? They don't have to do all the other things. They can just do the open too, right? So if that's the argument back, I can quickly put myself on the other side of it and be like, well, that's a really good point. That's a good point. It's only a distraction if you let it be a distraction. It can just be something else.
I'm curious, like, maybe this is just a test. Maybe this, I don't know, is if there was nothing around the open at Fairwinds other than, hey guys, there's this worldwide competition coming up. It's called the CrossFit Open. It comes every year. It's this, and this is why we think it's valuable. Sign up for it. It starts next week. And that's it. How many people sign up for it?
So the straw man argument that you just positioned, that you just offered, yeah. I hear you. You're positioning it as if quantity of stuff around the open equates to interest and focus. I'm not
trying to create an argument. It's more of like like an experiment from a what you were saying before is having, hey, there's a handful of people that from hey, it's this team thing where you can be part of this team and contribute toward, I don't know. Like I said, I'm looking at this more as like would having some of the fluff around it that makes it more like a game, right? More like a game, more like a community event, or just being what it is as it's given to us as affiliates, as CrossFitters. Does adding the fluff make a difference? Does it not? Does it really matter? Like by March 1st, would we still have the same number of people signed up, or would we not?
I have absolutely no idea.
And so that's where it's like, even if I said this, like I would say next year we're just going to do it this way. Like we're just going to do we're not going to make it an intramural open. We're going to emphasize the importance of the open to you as an athlete, your development, your health, and your fitness, and all that, and see what happens. And like, but there's still no way of knowing, did it really get more? Did it get, like, we can look at the numbers, but the numbers don't tell the entire story. And so
let me ask it a different way. If the only thing that you were focusing on was preparing and providing a trajectory and a clarity of focus for your entire population for a 3-week test during late February into early March, would that provide you a more efficient use of your time across the next 12 months?
Probably.
So a simplicity of vision and mission allows for, right? Like that's it. But at the same time, would you get bored? Would people get bored?
Like that's, I think,
I don't know.
Because what I like to be creative and add, I want something to, I like this. That's fun for me. That's fun for me to take something and put a little bit of my own creativity and flavor into it and then share it with others.
Yeah.
That brings me some joy.
So
but it also can be distracting and time consuming and sometimes like overwhelming. And so then I ask myself, is that joy that it brings me to create something like this, is that joy really like a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? I don't know. I feel like I need to dive. Well, it doesn't matter now because I've already started.
I'm already in it. Train's rolling. Can't fucking change the track. Train's
yeah,
rolling.
like now I'm like,
it's a good. Like I'm excited. I am excited. This is just a fun philosophical. Let me ask you: do you guys have wills? Do you and Meg have wills?
No, we should.
Do you have? Okay, so if I ask you, right, do you have special power of attorneys, whatever, right? And you go, we should. Why should you? Right? Well, because you could die at any second. I get hit by a bus, and nobody knows where my shit. So I will tell you.
Bridget's on board. There's Captain Bridget.
Nicole and I have we have wills. We haven't updated them in over a decade. Now, ask me why. I haven't deployed in over a decade. Part of a deployment cycle, because there is a clear state at which you will no longer be able to do the things that you keep putting off because you leave. The ship gets underway. The plane leaves. You go somewhere. So it is this thing to which you are working towards. And from that point, you move backwards. Everything is clarified. Everything has to be completed at a certain point in order to facilitate this thing happening. Now, here's the deal. This thing's going to happen. But if you want it to happen well, and you want it to happen in a way that you feel like you have a sense of control over it, well, then now you have buy-in to hit the wickets along the way. So the clarity and the simplicity, and the simpler you keep it, clothes go on the kids go in the car, cars goes to school. Killing me with this will thing. Like that sense of clarity comes from something that, is it good? Is it bad? I don't know. But what I get out of it is I have things that I did that I might not have done, that I associated the language that you just said. I should. Well, if you really mean that, I should, then it's worth looking like, okay, right? I should replace the light bulbs in the lights. I just can't figure out how to do it. Okay, well, I've got a camera crew coming on this date, and I need the pictures to be well lit. Now I've created the stimulus to change the action that I want. I should go to the gym 3 to 5 days a week. I only make it 1. I should. I need accountability. I need something. So it's like, this is the play and the balance of, if you're a simplicity, or as Bridget said, an essentialism type of person, maybe it's make things simpler, make them non-negotiable, make them binary, false binary, do or don't. But if that's not the thing that works for you as a person, if you need kind of the other stuff, if you need like, I need choices, I need the illusion of choice, well, then create it. In the end, if it yields the habit that you want, then I would say we could qualify that good or bad.
Yeah.
If it doesn't yield, then it's bad. If it yields, then it's good. I think this falls right in line. Like, if this creates the environment for you to run and open that gets 33 people and you get feedback from those people, that was so much fun. I loved it. That was awesome. Well, then you're fucking nailing it. Good job. I'm one person. Guess what? I'm signed up. I'm participating. I love it. I'm also allowed to have an opinion.
You're fish in a barrel. Jack's signing up.
Yeah, but I'm also allowed to have the opinion that I think some of that stuff is a distraction. Yeah. But that's the beauty of living in a public space with other human beings. Yeah. Is I want to know their opinion, because then I can have the conversation around it of like, yeah. And if it challenges me to go, you know what? I'm being a grumpy old flipping curmudgeon. Like, pay your bingo and you may enjoy it. It may be fun. Maybe it gets me to do something. But right, like that sort of diet. Billy pushed, still breaking the rules of using. Somebody pushed me like, why don't you come to class? Like, oh, do you come to classes? And I'm like, nah, whatever. And I gave him a reason that I thought was valid. And he goes, well, that's a bullshit reason. Yeah, I was like, huh. Billy. I mean, only a Marine. And I'm like, dang it, he's right. And it's a bullshit reason. I've been convincing myself that that's actually not the reason why. And I don't know the reason why, but I've been thinking about it. And I'm like, huh, that's a good point. I really appreciated it. I didn't like it. It pissed me off when he said it. Yeah. And I held that in. And I was like, but the fact is, what pissed me off was, that motherfucker's right.
It's fucking right.
Dang it. I got some work to do. And so like, that's what I mean of like, to me, that's a beneficial, like, take the feedback. If you don't like it, that's the first sign of like, maybe I got something to look at.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Jack, I don't like it. If I'm being honest with you.
We're doing it. You're doing it. It's going to be fun.
But there are a handful of people in this world that if they aren't giving me feedback that I don't like occasionally, then they're probably not the people that I need in my life. I like Jack, you've been in my life for a very long time, and I'm glad you have been. And it's why even after you left, we were still talking.
Yeah, of course.
So, and you're someone I know that will tell me things that I don't like, but in a way that maybe I need to hear them. I don't know. You find a nice balance. So anyway, cool. Yeah. I do have to end on that. We do have to.
We gotta land this plane. You gotta land
this plane. Yeah. I had a thought, but anyway, yeah. Gratitude. Go for it. Yeah. Land the plane.
Well, maybe that's it. Maybe I'm really grateful for the personalities in these morning classes. Yeah. I won't single out one person or whatever, but the honesty and the transparency with which they offer feedback and critiques on things. And to me, I'm so grateful for the inherent respect that and the reciprocity of respect that feels, that I'm getting a sense of like, they hear in what I'm saying to them that I respect them and want the best from them. And I feel like I can honestly say that that's what they feel, because I get back like no holds barred. That sucks. or like, why this is dumb, but it's not like this is dumb. This is they like, well, we could do it. This, I don't know. Just the feedback and the back and forth is so refreshingly honest, transparent, and beneficial to making me want to keep like not mailing it in, like showing up, like I'm fucking working, and I want to work hard. I want to work hard for these people.
That challenge of being held to that.
Yeah, and I love it, and it's like, and I'm so grateful for it, and I feel really responsible to respect it and to like, and not just like blow it off. And it has zero relationship to like monetary recompensance. That's whatever, like whatever. Like, it truly feels like a breaking into not trading time for money. Yeah. Right. Like I can, like, if I were doing this and not getting paid, I think I'd still do it. Like there's a there's an aspect of
Really?
Booyah! Cost savings.
All right.
Hey, folks, we're gonna reduce. Yeah, hey, coaches, we're gonna go. Jack said we should go from 35 to 25 bucks an hour, 25, whatever it is. I don't even know. But like it, like it's super exciting, and so it feels like what they talk about idealistically at the level 1 and the level 2, and it's not a linear thing. Like it comes and it goes, and it ebbs and flows, and like that. But I'm so grateful, and I can think of multiple times where it's like it's those little comments and it's the little interactions, but then it's also the big challenges, and then maybe it just is creeps down, comes similar. They keep showing up, right?
Yeah.
They complain, they whatever, but they keep showing up, and I'm like, you know what? That's it. And they keep showing up, and they're starting to show up with like intention and desire. And if I don't show up with that same intention and that same desire, I get called out on it. And I'm like, oh, okay. Game on, folks. I'm in. So super grateful.
Cool.
Keep it up. I'll say with Kate. Kate, we were doing something, and I'm like, Kate, I love the way you're moving. And I said it loud enough. I'm like, I don't know if I told you. You are my favorite athlete. Don't tell any of these other ones. They don't know, but you are my favorite. I got a good laugh, right? Because it's like, but it's true. I mean, and if I could go around the room to every city, like, you're my favorite.
Yeah. Even you, Bob.
Yeah, but he is. I love, like, that's what I'm like. There are aspects of it, so it is. It's awesome. I love it. I'm loving it. I'm so grateful for that. I mean, people are giving me them. They're getting the chance to have that access to these other human beings. Like, I'm a damn introvert, but god dang it, if this isn't freaking rewarding and fun. So, and not to loop it back, like, if the things the initiatives you got going on continue to facilitate that, then every single one of those initiatives, damn it, is worth it. Yeah. Then do it, man. I'll get over my own curmudgeoniness. Let me get over it. Like, do them. Keep doing them. I like my t-shirt. I love the color. I'm in. Thank you, by the way.
Yeah, Thank you. Thank Apparel Lab for their wonderful.
Yeah, beautiful t-shirts.
So mine's quick. It was I was leaving the post office. Yeah, and it's funny. I remember because it happened. I was like, totally. This felt nice. I was leaving the post office yesterday, and or whatever day it was, and this elderly gentleman comes in. I'm pretty sure he was a Vietnam vet because he had on like the trucker hat that had like the service he was in and like Vietnam. Like, so I'm pretty sure it was a Vietnam vet, but this smaller older man, and I'm holding the door for him and I'm totally one of those people. You might be 30 feet away. I'm probably going to hold the door for you till you get there. I don't care how slow you're going. And
I wait until they're like 5 feet away, and then I'm like, I'm out.
And maybe the older they are, the longer I'll hold the door. But he said, but as he comes up and he said, as he comes walking and he goes, "Have a great day, young man." And I was like, "Oh, thank you, sir." But he called me young man, and I couldn't think of the last time someone referred to me as young man. And I was like, because I don't feel very young lately. And so I just remember like, he just a big smile on his face. It's like, "Have a great day, young man." And I was like, "Oh, he called me young man. That was really nice." And
that is.
I don't know why that felt so good. It just did. So anyway, thanks to that guy who that's cool. Probably, I bet he lives in my neighborhood and don't even know it. So that's how small Shady
maybe we'll get the chance to open the door for him again and get to know his name. I'm Eric.
I'm just going to sit at the post office and see what happens.
Wait for him.
Because he totally seems like a guy that probably has a P.O. box, and that's when he goes and gets his mail. Like, I got that vibe. Like, that's where he goes. That's part of his day as he goes
to the post office, checks his box.
Yeah.
Dirty magazines. He still gets a Playboy once a month.
That's right. That's right. For the articles.
For the articles.
So,
Matilda used to like to read the articles. He looked at the pictures. They would read the letters to the editor together.
Yes. It's a beautiful, beautiful partnership.
Matilda was his wife. His name is Harvey.
I picked that
Harvey and Matilda.
not the Matilda, the story, the the girl from the story that was a child.
Oh, that's right. And that little kid, Doris. Then we'll call her Doris. Doris and Harvey.
Doris and Harvey. Oh, that's I could totally see that as being like got married in like the 60s, 70s.
If he went to Vietnam, they weren't getting married in the 60s and 70s. They were married in the 50s. He was a high school history teacher, and he enlisted in the Navy, but then went to OCS and became a lieutenant junior grade. Or he went to the Army. Let's say he went to the Army, and he was a tank. No, they didn't have tanks in Vietnam. He was an artillery. He was an artillery
Should have
guy.
tanks in Vietnam.
Well, they didn't. They didn't have tanks in Vietnam. I mean, maybe up in like I Corps, but they didn't have those in 2 Corps, 3 Corps, 4 Corps. No way. Terrain. Just it's a wasted.
Maybe parkour.
Wasted resource. Yeah. But yeah, that's his story. Doris was a accountant, and she actually opened up her own firm. And that's what brought them to Annapolis. Is that she got picked up by a DC conglomerate and then opened up a satellite office in Annapolis. He got out of the Army, worked construction for a while, became a plumber. Yeah,
I see it. He's small.
She passed away a couple years ago. He's got a couple grandkids. They've all moved to Northern Virginia. Sees them at the holidays, but that's what he was doing. He was sending letters to his grandkids.
I like that. Next time I see Harvey, I'll make sure to tell him his grandkids I said hi. Awesome. All right.
Little preview, folks. Jack's head throughout the day. I'm making up stories all the time. Charlie and I, we're walking, making up stories. He's just hoping to get a treat out of it.
Charlie the dog. We're not referring to Charlie now from Vietnam. We've moved on from that.
Oh, different Charlie. Yeah.
Charlie on the floor, not in the trees. Got it.
That's so weird. I just saw your registered athletes click down to 32, 31, 30 twice. Oh my God! Get off! End it!
Yeah, remember people were getting that note that just said the affiliate was not in good standing for whatever reason.
Yeah.
They must have been watching the podcast. I think that's what happened.
What was it?
It was just some like glitch. I emailed them and said, yeah, it's for some reason this is happening. And the next day it was fixed. And then 2 weeks later, I got an email where someone said, hey, this just popped up in my queue. It looks like everything was fixed. Let me know if you need anything else.
I wonder if it was like because you're doing like the payment, like, right, crossed and then the trigger, right? Like it was sort of
because like that, it was that day. Yeah, that day the payment was made. And so like, I don't know, maybe it was like, so maybe it was like still processing. I don't know.
I did. Like just that feeling of like, oh my God. That sucks.
It was one of those days too, where I was like, what is this? Like, I don't need another thing that I don't like. It feels like I have no control over whatever that was.
I'm glad it was an easy fix. That's not. Yeah, that you don't. That sucks. So cool, good.
So, all right, we're getting out of here in 5,